It was one of those mornings when the city felt heavy, as if every raindrop added weight to the shoulders of those walking its streets. Boston glistened under gray skies, neon lights flickering in puddles, buses groaning and cars honking impatiently. Michael Carter hurried across the crosswalk, shoes worn thin, tie pulled loose, a folder clutched to his chest. His paycheck was already spent, his debts mounting, and his spirit exhausted. He ducked into the coffee shop on Tremont Street, not out of love for coffee, but to escape the storm beating down on him. Inside, warmth wrapped around him, the smell of roasted beans and cinnamon mixed with the sound of jazz playing faintly. Through old speakers, students typed furiously on laptops, delivery drivers shouted orders, and the barista with messy hair and a bun handed him a steaming cup of plain black coffee. He dropped the last crumpled bills from his wallet onto the counter and sat in the corner trying not to think about the emptiness waiting at home in his refrigerator. Across from him sat an older man, glasses perched low on his nose, hair silver and combed back, his suit frayed but dignified. He filled page after page of a notebook, hand moving quickly, eyes sharp as though he were recording the secrets of the universe. Michael watched for a few minutes before muttering with a half-smile, "You write like your life depends on it." The man looked up, the corners of his mouth lifting. "Perhaps it does. Or perhaps someone else's life might." Michael raised his brows. "Over 1 cup of coffee?" "1 cup, 1 idea," the man said firmly. "That's my rule. Every day I come here, I leave with a spark. And sparks, my friend, start fires." From that day, Michael and Arthur Bennett began talking. Arthur was not wealthy in appearance, but his words carried the weight of experience. He told Michael that everyone searches for breakthroughs, yet true wealth often begins with the smallest details. Michael confessed his worries about bills, his fear that he would never escape the grind. Arthur listened patiently, then said, "Wealth isn't only money, it's reputation, kindness, creativity, build value, and the money will follow." Michael doubted him, but curiosity pulled him back to the cafe again the next day. And the next. He began to notice small things, guided by Arthur's sharp eye. One morning, a young woman rushed in, ordered a cappuccino, and then frowned. "I wish I could take this, but I have no time. It'll burn my hands." Without hesitation, Arthur tore a sheet from his notebook, folded it swiftly, and slid it under the cup. A makeshift holder, simple yet effective. The woman laughed, surprised, thanking him before rushing out. Michael was stunned. "That's it? A folded paper?" Arthur smiled. "A small solution to a small problem. That's how empires begin." Michael began writing lists of the inconveniences he saw every day. Students fighting over outlets, drivers, juggling coffee and phones, businessmen searching for quiet spaces, customers complaining about sleeves that slipped. He filled his notebook with details most ignored. One evening, he showed Arthur. The older man tapped the pages gently. "Now you are learning to see, to listen, not just hear. This is where ideas are born." Weeks passed. Encouraged by Arthur, Michael created a prototype, a cardboard sleeve that not only protected fingers but had a small slot to hold coupons or loyalty cards. A simple tweak, but clever. He pitched it to 3 coffee shops. 2 laughed him out the door. 1 small cafe owner agreed to try. That single yes felt like lightning in his chest. He rushed to tell Arthur, who nodded calmly. Now begins the real work. Success is not in the idea, it is in the patience to see it through. But patience was something Michael had never mastered. The weeks that followed tested every ounce of his resolve. The cafe owner liked the sleeves, but orders came slowly. Money barely trickled in, not enough to change his life. Friends mocked him. "A millionaire from cardboard? Don't be ridiculous." His co-workers at the insurance firm whispered behind his back, calling him a dreamer wasting his time. Doubt gnawed at him. He wanted to quit. Arthur saw it in his eyes. One rainy night, the old man spoke firmly. "Michael, wealth is not built in silence. It's built in storms. Every rejection, every doubt is the thunder before the harvest. Do not run from it." So Michael stayed the course. He walked door to door with his sleeves, facing rejection after rejection. Out of 20 shops, 19 said no, but one said yes. And then another. Slowly, painfully, momentum built. People began to notice. Customers liked the convenience. Business owners liked the subtle advertising space, and Michael's small idea began to grow legs. One evening, exhausted after another day of pitching, Michael asked Arthur, "Why me? Why did you share all this with me?" Arthur's eyes softened. "Because once someone saw potential in me when I was ready to quit. I lost my chance, Michael. I let fear silence me. I will not let it silence you." Those words burned in Michael's chest. From then on, every time he wanted to stop, he heard Arthur's voice reminding him of storms and harvests. Months turned into a year. The orders multiplied. His small apartment was filled with boxes of sleeves, his nights consumed with design improvements. He was no longer invisible. People began calling him the coffee shop guy. And then one article in a local newspaper changed everything. Young entrepreneur turns coffee sleeve into citywide success. Contracts poured in. Within 2 years, Michael Carter was known across Boston as the coffee shop millionaire. But when reporters asked him about his invention, he never spoke of money first. He spoke of Arthur, of the old man in the cafe who taught him to see small problems as hidden opportunities, of the phrase that became his compass, "One cup, one idea." Years later, when Arthur passed away, Michael sat once more in that same cafe, notebook open, coffee cooling beside him. Tears blurred his vision, but his pen moved across the page. "What we build is not measured in dollars," he wrote. "It is measured in the lives we touch, in the sparks we leave behind." And that was the real wealth. So remember this lesson. Greatness is not always about giant leaps or world-changing inventions. Sometimes it is a folded piece of paper. Sometimes it is a cardboard sleeve. Sometimes it is listening to an old man in a coffee shop and daring to believe that small ideas can become great. Now I ask you, what small detail in this story spoke to you the most? Was it the folded paper, the patience through rejection, the old man's wisdom? Share it in the comments and let's talk about it together. And if this story touched you, subscribe, because the next journey may hold the spark you need for your own storm.